You've been working really hard to improve your communication. You've been working your rate of speech, your pause, your melody, your tonality, and you can hear the improvements. But when it's time to speak in public, you feel like you go 2 steps back. You feel like you go back to your default voice, and you're left feeling really frustrated because you've put all this work in and still no change. And the thing is, if you carry on putting all that work in, nothing will change. But this one secret will make sure how you sound when you're by yourself will replicate how you sound in public. Now, here's the secret. But before we get into the secret, there is a link down below. And I will give you some more secrets so then you can 2x your confidence when it comes to communication. That is for free, just put your email in the link below. But you need to learn how to walk before you can run. You need to slowly increase the stakes. Because at the moment, you can talk to yourself absolutely fine. You can look into the mirror. You can talk to your phone. That is okay. But when it comes to being in public situations, which is higher stakes, you struggle. Now, this is the ladder that you need to follow to make sure when you get to those high stakes situations, like taking a presentation at work or an important conference call, you can smash it. You can keep that engagement within your voice. You can keep that energy within your voice, and you don't go back to your default voice, or should I say your habitual voice. Now, the first step on the ladder is stage number 1. Low stakes is literally just you. It's when you are speaking to yourself, you are doing role play with yourself. One step further, when you are filming yourself, when you are looking in the mirror. But low stakes is when you are literally practicing these drills of your pitch, your tonality, your melody, when it's just you. And because you're watching this video, that section is completely fine for you. You should be okay at this section, doing it when it's literally your company only. Now we're moving on to the mild stakes. Mild stakes is talking to randomers that you don't care about. These randomers could be the person serving you at the shopping mall. It could be the person serving you at the coffee shop. It could be the person at the checkout whilst you're buying a jumper. But because you don't know these individuals, there will be no judgment when you speak because they don't know what you sound like. Because they don't know what you sound like, you will feel more comfortable trying new things and using new techniques and sometimes speaking a little bit higher and sometimes speaking a little bit lower. And this will give us space to play. It will give you space to play. And then one step after that is going to your acquaintances. These are people that you know, but you're not really friends with. It could be that person in the gym that you see on a Tuesday night doing leg day. It could be the person that you always see on your morning walk. But these people that you speak to, you know them a little bit, but you're not mates. So you don't have any emotion attached to it. And that's why it's a mild stakes environment. Once you've mastered the mild stakes, you can go into the medium stakes. But if you feel uncomfortable in the mild stakes environment, that's what you need to work on first. And if you feel really uncomfortable, you need to go back to the low stakes, which is literally practicing these drills by yourself of working your tonality, your pitch, your pause, your storytelling, etc. But once we've mastered this mild stakes, we go into the medium stakes. The medium stakes has emotion involved. And the reason there's emotion involved because you know these people. And because you know these people, you know that they know you've changed your voice. These could be your family or your friends. They know what your habitual voice sounds like. So when you do something a little bit different, they sometimes can comment. And that's why it's a little bit harder than speaking to randomers that you have no interest in. But it's a step that you've got to take. And I believe family and friends is the next step before high stakes situations like business meetings, because they are still your family and friends. They are supportive. But there is emotion involved, which is why you've got to fight the urge and keep drilling it. You might even just say a sentence in your voice with a little bit of a higher pitch. You might trial certain things with your voice. And slowly over time, words turn into sentences, sentences turn into paragraphs. And once you've done paragraphs, you can then make it your whole energy and your whole aura. Now, moving on to the next one of medium stakes is randomers that you have an interest in. Because When you find someone attractive, there is emotion involved. That's where your nerves will spike up. So being able to keep this sort of energy and aura around people that you find attractive is the next step up. Then after that, we move into the last stage, or the last bit of the stakes, the high stakes environments, and that is either work presentations or meetings or public speeches, speaking in front of a crowd. Now this is the highest stage of your communication skills and being able to keep what you can do, looking at the mirror and being on stage. Making sure you can keep the same sort of energy within both. Because I bet you can look like a fool in front of the mirror, but when it comes to being on stage or in a business meeting, nerves start to kick in. And the reason they kick in is because there's outcomes and consequences if you do fuck up. For example, if you have a business meeting and you fuck up, that could be the deal. When you're looking at yourself in the mirror speaking, there's no consequence whatsoever. But here's the thing, with all of these stakes, with all of these steps on the ladder, you need cage time. Let me tell you what cage time is. It's very, very important. Without cage time, you will not be able to keep the same energy. And this is why you always practice your communication. You feel really confident. You come to public situations and then you go back to your default setting. And this is why. When I first started fighting, I wanted to be a better fighter. I was doing lots and lots of training. I got my first fight. I got in there, and after I got out the fight, I was disgusted with how I did. My performance was awful. Everything that I knew, I forgot. I thought I'd be able to throw a 1-2-3 slip, 3-2 roll out, boom, and knock him clean out. But if you know anything about fighting, I literally threw my front hand, which is a jab, boom, and a low kick, boom. Did that for 5 rounds. I was knackered after 1 round. So all these skills that I thought I had, when I got into the cage, into the ring, it didn't work. And the reason it didn't work is because I didn't have enough cage time under my belt. I folded under the pressure. And the way you never fold under pressure is by getting experienced under pressure. I then had another fight. My performance increased. I then had 4 fights in 6 weeks, and the amount of improvements that I made just by fighting that many times was ridiculous. And it was all down to cage time. It's down to experience. The more experience you have in these avenues, the more comfortable you will feel, which is why you're going to get experience with the low stakes, then the mild stakes, then the medium stakes, and then the high stakes. If you go from low stakes all the way up to high stakes, sometimes it can knock your confidence and make you go back to your default setting. Imagine this. Think of the first time you fingered a girl. You don't have a clue what you're doing. You just stick your fingers in and hope for the best. But after a few girls, you start to curl your fingers a bit more. And then you start to hit the spot, and then you start to get a good reaction. And then when you start to get a good reaction, it helps your confidence. And when you start getting confident, you know going in there that you're going to perform. And it's the same with speaking. Once you start to get the cage time in and you start to get these good reactions, your confidence will increase. Once your confidence increases, you will start to perform better under pressure because you've seen these environments before. Just like I did with fighting, just like you do when you finger your first girl or give slops to your first man or whatever way you're inclined, and just like you would when you are speaking. Cage time is crucial. So to follow this ladder system, boom, 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 make sure you get cage time, because improving how you speak isn't some sort of mystery trick. You just need a system that clicks, because in the end, it's not what you know, it's how you say it that makes you glow. That was a sick line. Come on. Also, there's a link down below, and if you want to make sure you glow and you keep that energy and you keep that aura no matter the situation and you never crumble under pressure, click the link below, put your email in, and I will send you the tools to make sure you never crumble and you never leave opportunities on the table. And if you like this video, you'll probably like this one too.